And here's the project we're going to do today. This one is Sunset Rider with PanPastels, attempt number 2. This is a project I have previously done with PanPastels, and I wasn't quite satisfied because the stamps didn't stamp quite dark enough. So I'm going to repeat this project today, and we're going to see if we can get those stamps to stamp a little bit darker. And as I did last time, this was done using Master's Touch mixed media paper, and of course PanPastels, but this time I used Versafine ink instead of Memento Tuxedo Black ink at the end. And I also stamped before I applied the fixative, whereas the first time I did it I applied the Memento ink after I had sprayed the fixative. Okay, we'll start first by mirror stamping the road. And so I've got the road positioned on the paper where I want it on a piece of rigid plastic. And so we're going to mirror stamp this now. I'm going to use one of my paper Smooches stamps, and I'm using Memento London Fog. And so I will start by inking up the stamp. Put it in position in my stamping platform. Going to remove my Misty Creative corner. Let's see. And I'm going to transfer the image onto my mirror stamp. And I will ink it up again. Remove my Misty Creative corner and transfer it to the mirror stamp. Now we need to put the foam back in, and then I will transfer the image from the mirror stamp onto the paper. I got my plastic stuck on there. And next we will ink up the Lady Rider, again using London Fog. And next we will ink in the fences. And now we'll start coloring in with the PanPastels. And I will start with Turquoise Tint. Next, turquoise. Next, orange tint. Next, orange. Okay, next we'll do some Diarylide yellow tint. Next we'll do some violet shade. And I'll blend with my turquoise sponge. Then I'll blend with my orange sponge and yellow sponge. Okay, now I'm going to add some more turquoise. Now more violet shade. And blend in with my turquoise sponge. Add more of the orange and more of the yellow. Okay, next we'll do the permanent green tint, then permanent green, and permanent green shade. Next we'll do some burnt sienna tint and some burnt sienna. Okay, now I'm going to take just a little bit of my colorless blender and then just blend everything together. Okay, and I'm going to come back to my permanent green Okay, now we're going to restamp the stamps that we already stamped, and this time we're going to use some Versafine. So I am going to start with the reverse stamp of the road, or the mirror stamp of the road first. Okay, and next we'll stamp the horse. Next we'll stamp the fences. Okay, next we'll take the tree here. Okay, and then we will stamp the tree in this way. And I'll use some hand sanitizer here to just clean off the bottom here of any of the pigment ink that doesn't seem to want to wipe up. Okay, and then we'll put some of these little vines in the lower corner. Okay, and next I'll use my little art impression flower stamp and some Versafine Crimson Red. And I will just ink up half of the stamp and stamp some random flowers. Okay, next I'll take some Versafine Olympia Green and the little grass stamp from Art Impressions. And I will ink up the stamp, then I will stamp it off first, and then just ground the flowers. Okay, now I'll take the tiny rocks and I'll try some Versafine Vintage Sepia. Stamp it off first and then just add some rocks. And I'm going to take a white gel pen and just add some stars up here and where the sky is starting to get dark. And I'll also add some white highlights. Okay, next I'll take a pen and I'll sign and date it. going to take it outside and spray it with some Krylon Workable Fixatif. And when I'm finished, we'll be back. And here is the final result after it's been sprayed with the fixative. And to compare it with the original, you can see the Versafine ink applied before I put on the fixative is a much better ink to use than Memento applied after the fixative, as I did on this one. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!